Melissa, thanks a lot. Back to college hooping instead of Rocky Top.
Jordan on the drive, right of the lane, 18-footer. Yeah! Jordan's force-up shot to left. Oh, yes! Win. Michael Jordan saves the day. Michael into the front court. Left corner shot by Jordan. Goal!
How many times has a specific play that an athlete has executed been so memorable that it's been labeled with a name? The shot took place in 1989. It was the playoffs, and MJ predicted the Bulls would beat Cleveland, the so-called team of the future, in 4 games. But in Game 4, Jordan had to eat his words after missing vital free throws, which led to an overtime loss in Chicago Stadium. 2 days later, Game 5, which was to be played at Cleveland, with the winner advancing to the next round. Michael worked his magic, what will always be known simply as the shot.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win! Set the Cleveland Cavaliers. Michael Jordan hits it.
4 years later, the city of Cleveland grew to hate Michael even more. It was round 2 of the playoffs, Game 4. The Bulls were looking for a sweep, while the Cavs had one last hope of staying alive. It was a tie ball game. No Craig Elo this time, but Gerald Wilkins would do. For lack of a more creative title, it's known as The Shot, Part 2.
Let's fly! Sunday! Yeah, it's Sunday! Bulls win again!
When Jordan retired and tried to tackle baseball, Bulls fans everywhere thought all the drama was over. But our prayers were answered with the 2-word facts: I'm back. But would Jordan ever really be back to his old self? His time away from the game was noticeable, and he wore a new number across his chest. Now, it wasn't until the 4th game back that the city knew there was reason for optimism. The Bulls were in Atlanta with the score tied.
Jordan for the win. Yes! He did it again! He is now back!
1997 was the year the Bulls supposedly could be beaten. They were too old, and the Utah Jazz had the league's disputed MVP, Karl Malone. In Game 1 of the finals, it was tied in the closing seconds. Everyone knew who would get the ball.
Down to 2, down to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes! It's all over.
A year later in the 98 playoffs, the Bulls were once again labeled as a group of old men. Besides, Utah had home court advantage this time. Now, no one told that to Michael Jordan. The Bulls were down by 1 in Game 6 of the finals, in what may be the most memorable buzzer beater of his career, because it was also his last shot. He went out in style. Another championship allowed Chicago to repeat the three-peat.
Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
That may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.
Or, put another way, in an old question, but a new context, what does life now have for the icon who has everything?
I think the real challenge for him will be to take his business sense and turn his business ventures into the best of whatever they can be.
Clearly, this is not a guy who is made to sit in a boardroom all day, making decisions and going over contracts and making long-range plans. The beauty of Jordan as a businessman is he's got the greatest product in the world. It's Michael Jordan.
I think he's now beginning to say, I want to compete with Bill Gates. You know, I want to compete with General Electric. I want to compete with Ford and GM.
He'd be good at whatever he wanted to do. I mean, if the parts were tailored to him, there's no reason why he couldn't be a major player in movies. I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I always thought Jordan would be a great James Bond. I mean, Michael Jordan is James Bond.
If he would ever decide to focus on golf to a level where he was working at it, there's no telling how good he could become.
You know, maybe the music industry, because he loves music, loves jazz, you know, maybe, you know, have a record label or something of that sort.
We walked into the Senate floor, and here was Michael standing at the majority leader's desk. And I thought to myself then, well, maybe will he be a senator someday?
I said to him, do you think you ever could run for president? Figuring he would just laugh and say, of course not. And he said, yeah, he could imagine doing it.
For
Michael Jordan's numbers speak for themselves, but his impact on the game will undoubtedly be talked about for as long as basketball is played. And as Paul Crane tells us, Jordan could well be the greatest ever to play the game.
Michael Jordan established himself as the greatest player the NBA has ever seen, just as the league itself was enjoying the greatest success in its history. Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain are the only players to ever win 7 consecutive scoring titles, but Jordan could have won an incredible 12 in a row had he not taken a 2-year leave to play baseball, because he captured 3 more upon his return. Chamberlain will always be associated with his record 100-point game, but it's Jordan who owns the NBA playoff record with 63. Jordan's career regular season scoring average of 31.5 is the highest in NBA history, and his career playoff average of 33.4 is also the NBA's best ever.
There will never be another Michael Jordan. As long as I live, as long as my kids live, I mean, there'll never be another Michael Jordan. Just because the things he did on the court as well as off the court it's going to be hard to exemplify.
And Jordan scored when it mattered most. He beat Cleveland at the buzzer in the decisive games of playoff series in 1989 and 93. Inside against the Lakers in 91 on the way to the Bulls' first of 6 titles in the 90s. Outside against the Blazers in 92 when he hit a playoff record 6 3-pointers in one half. The game-winning jumper to win the opener of the 97 finals against Utah. Or his 38 points, 15 in the 4th quarter against the Jazz when Jordan was so sick he was doubled over at times. And the last shot he'll ever take to win the 1998 finals.
Chicago with the lead!
We always talk about killer instinct or determination, mental toughness, you know. Michael combined all of it. He could push himself to another level.
But Jordan was more about winning than scoring. After the Pistons pushed him around in the late 80s on their way to 2 straight titles, Michael matured into the kind of player who needed to do more than score.
You know, Mike can say he beat everybody to win a championship. And we can't say we beat Mike. Nobody can say they beat Mike to win a championship.
They perform better because of him. And that's what great players are supposed to do, is make their teammates better. He did it night in and night out, you know. I mean, it was incredible.
The 6 titles won by Jordan's Bulls are 1 more than Magic Johnson's Lakers and 3 more than the Celtics of Larry Bird. Without Jordan, the Bulls were little more than a middle-of-the-pack team. In his first full season after returning from baseball, the Bulls emerged from that pack to win an NBA record 72 games.
He's done everything possible as a player. When you're coming out of college and you set goals for yourself, he's reached them all.
You know, just the greatest player ever, if you ask me.
Will you miss him then?
No, give somebody else a chance to win.
Jordan also won Olympic gold medals in 1984 and 92. And as a freshman at North Carolina, hit the shot that gave the legendary Dean Smith his first NCAA championship. Ultimately, how do we measure Michael Jordan? Bill Russell's Celtics won an unprecedented 11 titles. Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar scored more points. But for artistry, desire, and overall accomplishment on the court, no one has had more impact on basketball than Jordan. It's hard to imagine anyone ever having that kind of impact again. I'm Paul Crane.
Well, here's how Jordan stacks up against the greats, or they against he. 5 league MVP crowns, 6 finals MVP honors. Jordan's 10 scoring titles are the most ever. And while he may not have as many rings as Bill Russell, he without question single-handedly changed the fortunes and attitude of a team, its city, and the entire league. Can anyone else boast of that? But Jordan's announcement was felt from the White House to Wilmington. And in a moment, we'll hear from the folks in the North Carolina town where Michael Jordan grew up. National correspondent Sonia Steptoe found that, like the rest of the nation, it was tough for the locals to say goodbye to Mike.
It's like sort of sad because he's been in basketball for a lot of years now, and I don't think he should give it up.
I think he's an inspiration to keep your grades up so you can be on the basketball team, because, I mean, it's a chance to be just like him.
We started out a pretty small business, but it sure wasn't small to us. We needed help, financial help. That's just what we got from the people at American Express Small Business Services. We got equipment financing for bigger stoves and faster computers, a line of credit to keep our cash flow flowing, plus the buying power to help our business grow. 1-800-SUCCESS was the best call we ever made. Like my father says, you can do anything you set your mind to, but you can't do it alone. He's right.
Mortgage interest rates have been slashed to some of their lowest levels ever. The time to refinance is right now. Just call Ditech Funding at 1-800-71-FIX. Today's low 30-year fixed rate is just 6 3/4%. APR 7.005%. There are no points, no deposits, and rates will never go down to zero. So what are you waiting for?
It's smart financing from Ditech Funding.
Refinance now to a low 30-year fixed rate of just 6 3/4% with 0 points. Call 1-800-71-FIX.
What will happen in Cuba after Castro? What will replace television? Is an arthritis cure around the corner? One thing's for sure, opportunities abound. And every day we send a search party of 35,000 to find them. Care to join us? Let's get to work. Solomon Smith Barney.
He was once dubbed the $10 billion man for his impact on the U.S. economy. His appeal has been national, even global, but nowhere is Jordan's image more omnipresent than in the city of Chicago. Every time Jordan stepped onto the court at United Center, between $8 and $10 million were pumped into the local economy. From parking, concessions, and souvenirs, to restaurants, bars, and tourism, Jordan and the Bulls were an entertainment windfall for the Windy City. Jordan also drove the league to another stratosphere. Before he arrived, the league sold $44 million worth of its merchandise each year. Last year's sales totaled $3.1 billion. Average attendance jumped about 6,500 fans per game. And the Bulls ticket, both at home and on the road, became the toughest to get. Well, the ripple effect of Jordan's announcement was felt even at the White House. President Clinton joined the many who wished Jordan well and marveled at his exploits.
We wish Michael Jordan well. We admire him, we like him very much, and we thank him for years of thrilling exploits. In my life, I don't know that I ever saw another athlete with such a remarkable set of qualities of mind, body, and spirit. Not only somebody who had a body that would do things no one else's would do, but who always expected to do whatever it was he tried to do.
And now from the White House to Wilmington, North Carolina, where Jordan grew up and could no doubt get a few votes if he ran for mayor. National correspondent Sonia Steptoe visited Wilmington and found that Jordan's announcement really hit home.
Here in Michael Jordan's hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina, a brilliant sunrise ushered in the day the sun would set on a brilliant career of this city's most famous native. Whether at the restaurant where Jordan earned his first paycheck or the high school where his athletic exploits began, the talk of the town was of the legend leaving the game.
I think we have mixed emotions. You know, we're real proud he came from our town here, and he's just a class act and it's been wonderful for the game of basketball, and we're just so proud of him here.
We're proud that he's able to retire. He's not going to be out of the picture. I feel sure that he's going to still be doing things, and we'll be still helping a lot of young people.
I think it's going to be really sad and everything, because he's such a role model for kids in Wilmington and everybody else in the United States.
For some, it may be sad to see him leave the game, but for some, it may be happy knowing that, what he left behind. He left a legacy behind in the NBA.
While his fans in the rest of the world marvel at Jordan's wealth, fame, and trophies, the folks in this working-class community cherish the legacy of achievement he leaves for youngsters in his hometown to follow. In Wilmington, North Carolina, I'm Sonia Steptoe.
Thank you, Sonia. Coming up next, our Jim Huber will offer his perspective on Jordan's career and what's ahead for his heiress. And we'll also take a further look at some of Jordan's most enduring images.
There is a company that makes investing simple. With strong service 24 hours a day. With strong performance. And even award-winning web service. In fact, if you invest $5,000 with Strong before March 15th, you'll get free TurboTax software when you activate your online services. Start simplifying your investments and your taxes today. Call 1-888-4STRONG or visit our website at strongfunds.com.
Force now, throw the switch. That's enough.
Eggo waffles, now with calcium. My greatest creation yet. Each serving has the same amount of calcium as a full glass of milk. With these, I shall rule the breakfast table. It's done! It's done!
Thanks, Dad.
There go my Eggo, you little monster.
Eggo waffles, same great taste, now with calcium.
At CNNSI.com, you can check out the cover of the upcoming commemorative issue on His Airness. Also, a wealth of information and a vault of video highlights and images are there for your enjoyment. Well, Michael Jordan could do it all. He played good, he looked good, he smelled good because of his cologne, he sold goods, lots of them, and he even acted, well, fairly good. But Jim Huber now remembers not a god of some sort, just a man who achieved greatness nearly all of the time.
In retrospect, he surely was created on a canvas, either as a magnificent work of art or a comic book superhero, and perhaps both. Superman, after all, never flew quite so high, or in his middle years suffered such human failings. Michael Jordan was simply one of the most complete and yet flawed athletic creations in this planet's history. The best basketball player ever, the most average baseball player, the most eager golfer, the best huckster, the ultimate in class and style and $1,000 Nassau's. But beyond anything else, as his career in the NBA comes to a stuttering end, he shall be remembered as the man who, almost like a human jet, flew the league beyond Magic Johnson and Larry Bird into its multi-million-dollar era. There is irony there, for when Magic and Bird left the NBA, we wondered if anybody could possibly come along to elevate the game further. And almost immediately, there was Michael. But at the end of this remarkable reign, who is there to accept the baton? Could we have somehow seen the ultimate performer? He leaves not as the all-time leading scorer, but his 10 scoring championships are 3 more than anybody else in history. He departs with 6 championship rings, 5 fewer than Bill Russell, and yet what one other man was responsible for transcending the game, drawing sellouts and high television ratings wherever and whenever he performed. Who single-handedly won more games. Jordan's theatrics were also heroic. 25 game-winning shots over his NBA career, like the memorable jumper against Cleveland in '89, and the shot that beat Utah in '98.
Jordan a drive, hangs, fires, scores! He scores!
But in between those 2 shots came one of the most mysterious, perhaps human gaps in sports history. As Michael Jordan was taking his rightful place as one of the greatest athletes of all time, he chose to retire from basketball to try his hand at baseball. The tragic death of his father eating away at him. Rumors of heavy gambling on the golf course taking their toll. Why not baseball? But if he himself believed in his athletic invincibility, that game did not. It chased him amid great fanfare to the minor leagues and chronicled his failings nightly. As a basketball player, bronze. As a baseball player, papier-mâché. And so, almost as though he had served his sentence, the NBA gladly took him back 2 years later. And just days into his second coming, he scored 55 points against the Knicks. His role in the league was one thing. His status as the world's highest-paid salesman was yet another altogether. From shoes to cologne, he made millions for himself and much more for his companies. Hollywood called, and Michael jammed. It was a natural. And his Chicago Bulls, with Jordan leading the league in scoring, won the last 3 NBA championships. Now, a seasoned in semi-disrepair, he takes his final leave to lower his handicap and raise his children, to take his rightful place as an elder statesman. Will another somehow enter his vaunted airspace and rescue the NBA once again? Or have we been blessed with the last great Skywalker? If there are artists hard at work, they had best have majestic imaginations, for this one will be almost impossible to beat. I'm Jim Huber.
Thanks, Jim. And thank you for joining us for a special look at Michael Jordan. He is retired now, far short of his golden years, but he has golden memories of his own to keep and so many for all of us to share. And we'll do that now. For all of us at CNN Sports Illustrated, I'm Bob Lorenz. Happy retirement, Michael.
Everyone picked other teams to win, or we would have a tough time because we were old. And, with all that, we just, we're like a grain of salt. We just fought a little bit harder.
And each and every time that we stepped on the floor, we knew
that, you know, this may not ever happen again. And we enjoyed each and every moment, and I'm very happy to end it the way that we wanted to end, which was a championship. And I think that's something that we feel proud about. And for every Chicagoan from, you know, that's moved and traveled all over the city, all over the world, now they can say that they're part of a championship team.
But as Michael walked to the podium before a worldwide mass of media, only he could bring the matter to an official finality.
I am here to announce my retirement from the game of basketball. It won't be another announcement to baseball or anything to that nature.
Michael saying he was 99.9% sure he would not come back. With his 36th birthday just ahead, the game's greatest of all time made it abundantly clear he was mentally worn out.
From a career standpoint, I've accomplished everything I could as an individual. And right now I don't have the mental challenges that I've had in the past to proceed as a basketball player.
So for the second time, the Bulls officially retired number 23 at the United Center, and team owner Jerry Reinsdorf presented MJ with his championship ring from title number 6.
It has to be the toughest day in the history of the Chicago Bulls. It's a tough day for Chicago. It's a tough day for the NBA. It's a tough day for basketball fans all over the world, and for Michael Jordan fans all over the world.
I disagree with Jerry. This is not a sad day. This is a great day, because the greatest basketball player in the history of the game is getting the opportunity to retire with the grace that described his play.
I think he's been deprived of so much in his private life for the past 14 years. The demands of being Michael, everyone wants to be Michael Jordan, but as he so, you know, eloquently stated today, there's a lot of sacrifices for being Michael Jordan.
The recent NBA lockout affected only the timing of Jordan's announcement, and his clashes with Bulls management in the end were also not a factor in the retirement.
A matter of different opinions, I don't think would have changed my mind in terms of my retirement at this stage of going into the next year.
Michael's magic now disappears from the NBA, never to be seen again. But poignantly, the last memory we have is a memory Jordan himself cherished, going out a champion.
My life takes on a different stage now, and it's a different challenge. And I welcome that, and I knew it was coming. So I'm happy that it's gotten to this point. I'm happy that you guys didn't run me out of the game. I chose to walk away knowing that I can still play the game. And that's what I've always wished, for my career to end. That's exactly the way I wanted to end it.
And it was a class finish. Michael says his new challenge in life now will be raising his 3 children. His wife, Juanita, says she envisions Michael doing more carpooling. MJ will continue to raise his family in the Chicago area, a place where he says his heart belongs. And tonight, the hearts of all Bulls fans wish him the best. It's been a heck of a party with Michael Jordan playing here in Chicago.
We'll never have another one like it. Thanks, Rich.
The only thing we know for sure about this year's Bulls team is it won't include Michael Jordan.
But it didn't take long to become Air Jordan. Then he turned into Superman. He won 6 NBA championships, taking the Bulls and the league to heights never before imagined. MJ, Air, Superman, or Michael, he will forever be known as the best there ever was. The best there ever was, inscribed on the base of the Michael Jordan statue outside the United Center. Air Jordan, captured in mid-flight, exactly how most of us will remember him in his retirement. Good evening, everybody, along with John Paxson and Johnny Red Kerr. Dan Roan, happy to have you along as we look to the past, not the present, and relive Michael Jordan's career here in Chicago. And guys, I know that the retirement announcement really didn't come as a surprise to anybody. It had been boiling up for some time, but still tough to take for some people here in Chicago.
Yeah, not surprising at all. And actually, when you look back at it, this is the perfect way for Michael to go out on top of his game as a winner. And I think all of us who know him are real happy for him tonight. He gets to go on to a new stage of his life.
Johnny, he gave us all the big dust-off.
Oh, he did, and I'll tell you something. The treasured years of an athlete's life are from 20 to 30. Michael was outstanding to 35. He'll be 36 in February, but it was just enjoyable that we could watch this man this long.
It was terrific, no question about that. But Michael is gone, 99.9% sure, he says. He'll never return. And when he first arrived in Chicago, he was probably 99.9% sure he'd never win a championship. The Bulls weren't very good then, but Bulls fans had good reason to believe that was about to change.
The time, 18. Shot, Jordan, Michael Jordan, 14 seconds.
That turned out to be the game winner when Fred Brown passed the ball to James Worthy, icing the 1982 NCAA championship for freshman Michael Jordan and the Tar Heels. After winning College Player of the Year awards in his sophomore and junior seasons, young Michael decided he was ready for the pros, but not before helping the U.S. win a gold medal in the 1984 Olympics.
No, I'm not going to go in and think about losing. I'm going in and thinking of winning, and I hope that my teammates think the same thing.
The Bulls made Jordan the third pick in 1984 in a draft that included Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. And Jordan was an immediate sensation.
Ball tipped away. Uh-oh. Here's the visit to Slam City. What a show this young man has put on.
Plays like that made Jordan an easy choice for Rookie of the Year in 1985. Michael missed most of his second season when he broke his foot in the third game of the year. He returned just in time to lead the Bulls into the playoffs against Boston, where he scored an all-time playoff record 63 points in Game 2. The individual accomplishments began to pile up as Michael entered his third season. He won the first of 7 consecutive scoring titles, averaging a career-high 37 points a game. In 1988, Jordan picked up the first of 5 Most Valuable Player awards and was named the league's top defensive player. But despite all the individual accolades, the Bulls' lack of success as a team was eating away at Michael. On a spring afternoon in 1989, that would all change in an instant.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go, puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago.
And as Michael told me in an interview a couple of years after that, that's when Cleveland really started to hate me. But first, you guys, back to some of those early years. Pax, you were in the league when Michael came in as a rookie, playing in San Antonio, I believe. And, you know, things weren't the way they are now. I don't think you got to see so many highlights and certainly not as many games as we do these days. So what did you know about him coming into the league, and what happened when you first saw him play?
Well, we all knew he was very athletic. That was the word coming out, and having seen him in college a little bit. But when you think back to his days at North Carolina, very structured system, a lot of substitution, and you know, the thing was always that you never really got to see what Michael could do. When he came into the league, he just took off. And one of the games that we played against him, it was in Chicago against the Spurs. He had 45, and I remember just the alley-oops and the backdoor cuts, and it was his pure explosiveness and quickness to the basket that really got me, especially when I saw him in person for the first time in the NBA. He'd grown up so much in just a short period of time, even when he first came out of college and into the league.
It was always said that Dean Smith was the only guy who could hold him under 20 points a game, and I guess that may have been true because he exploded into the NBA, John, and he certainly had plenty of opportunity to score in the league because he had 3 coaches in his first 3 years. He had Kevin Lockery, then he had Stan Albeck, and then, of course, Doug Collins came in, but they all let him play.
They did. It was almost like be all you can be, the motto that you see today on television. But I thought it was almost like a thoroughbred. You know, a thoroughbred really comes to age when he's 3 years old and he runs for the Derby. So he ran for these 3 different coaches, and I don't think they really knew what they had. And how do you put an offense together to utilize the tremendous ability this guy had? And I think it was sort of a handicap for him. I mean, Michael was so good that sometimes his coaches stood back in awe.
Sure, and it was tough for him to make the adjustment, having different coaches every single season in those first 3 years. But consistency finally arrived in the lanky form of Phil Jackson, a coach with a plan, and the juice to back it up. The perfect coach, as it turned out, for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's individual star burned bigger and brighter with each game he played. And on the night of March 28, 1990, it sparkled like never before. Jordan exploded on the Cleveland Cavaliers for a career-high 69 points.
Cleveland fans and Michael Jordan have a love-hate relationship, basically. I mean, they love me when I play for the Olympics, but they hate me when I play for the Bulls. So I understand that, but it's a matter of competition. They drive me to excel, and that particular night, I excelled for 69, and it was a great feeling, even though they were booing me half the time.
If Cleveland was Michael's playground, Detroit was his house of horrors. The men from Motown enforced their own set of Jordan rules and rudely booted the Bulls from the playoffs 3 years in a row. In 1991, the Bulls found themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals once again, and as in the past, the Pistons were waiting for them. From the outset, it was clear this was a new Bulls team, different in method and mentality, and this rivalry was changed forever. The Bulls took out the defending champs in 4 straight to advance to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
Each year we got to a mountain that we just couldn't get over the top, and we finally got over that top of that mountain, and we did it in style, 4-0, and they walked off the court in embarrassment.
Jordan versus Magic as the world watched. MJ was at his best, averaging over 31 points and 12 assists per game in a finals performance that led the Bulls to their first world championship. Michael was crowned Series MVP, but most importantly, he'd finally silenced the critics who said he could never take the Bulls to the trophy.
7 years of hard and dedicated work came down to a head, actually, to where we actually accomplished the ultimate goal that a lot of people never thought we could because of my individual accolades or whatever. And yet we did it, and it was like telling a guy, oh, we proved you wrong, that type of attitude, and that's something that you'll never forget.
Not satisfied with a club record 61 wins, the Bulls went out the following year and picked off 67, equaling the 4th best mark in NBA history. Jordan won his 3rd MVP award and 6th NBA scoring title. Yet the Bulls' playoff run hit a brick wall, quite literally, when the Knicks dusted off some of Detroit's bad boy tactics to force a memorable 7th game.
Here's Jordan splitting through. Jordan with the steal. And then it's stolen by Starks. McDaniel chased by Jordan. It's a clean block. Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
In Game 1 of the '92 Finals, Michael entered the zone, amazing everyone, including himself. Jordan and the Bulls would complete the repeat, knocking out the Trailblazers in 6. Michael was Finals MVP again, this time celebrating in Sweet Home Chicago.
It wasn't quite as emotional as the first, but it was just as gratifying because we proved to everybody that, hey, it wasn't just a fluke here in Chicago. I mean, we got a good team, a good solid team.
Following the '92 title, MJ headed for Spain. As a member of the Olympic Dream Team, Jordan's performance again was golden.
You will never have a team with the caliber of players playing together for one ultimate goal, which is the gold medal.
And off that short summer, Jordan and the Bulls faced an enormous challenge, trying to become the first NBA team in 30 years to win 3 consecutive championships. On his way to basketball history, Michael again found himself off Broadway, battling the Knicks to the very last second.
Ewing for Smith. 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 Stopped. Smith. Stopped again by Pippen. What a play by Scottie Pippen. Final seconds. Jordan for Armstrong. And the Bulls have defeated the Knicks.
The road to the three-peat continued through Phoenix. The Suns and Charles Barkley, though losing the opening 2 games, let the Bulls know they were in for a fight to the finish. But when John Paxson drained that unforgettable 3-point shot, it was over. Jordan walked off the court with a 3rd NBA title and somehow knew his life would never be the same. What a pass by Horace Grant.
You're right.
John, tell us a little bit about Phil's role in reshaping this team and getting it ready to make the championship run, getting it mentally tough enough to get by the Knicks and the Pistons and all they had to overcome.
Well, first of all, I think Jerry Reinsdorf said it best that his other coaches took him from point A to point B, and with Doug Collins being a final coach for him before Phil get him to point C. What Phil did is he leaned back on an old crafty veteran, and that was Tex Winter, and put in that offense that Tex wrote the book about 45 years ago, I guess, the triple post offense, and stayed with it and made the team the feature rather than Michael.
That's exactly what happened, and of course that's the same offense the Bulls are going to run with Tim Floyd as coach, we think, this year. It hasn't been announced quite yet. Pax, there were some other things involved in that, some other dynamics, and one of those was Phil getting Michael to buy into that. You know, he'd been such a freelancer for most of his career with those other coaches, and now he was in a structured system where the first option was really for him to throw it into the post and not to take it to the basket.
Right, and think about the NBA too. A lot of two-man game, three-man game where you used individual skill, and you know, that was part of the selling job that Phil had to do, was come in and have Michael believe that he could trust his teammates. And that's really what it was, because our first group kind of evolved together after they traded Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright. That group grew up together, and we had to suffer the defeats at the hands of the Pistons, and those were all lessons that we learned, that we couldn't throw everything on Michael. It was as much Phil trying to tell Michael that he had to rely on his teammates as telling the rest of us that we had to step up and support him. You know, in the finals there against the Lakers, you guys had a 3-1 lead. You were going to win the series anyway, but there was a telling moment there late in the fourth quarter in Game 5, and you were involved in it. Phil told Michael Jordan, he said, look, they're double teaming you, Pax is open, you've got to get him the basketball. And he'd been somewhat reluctant, I know, to that point to do it, but when he did, I know you had a ton in the fourth quarter, 20 for the game, and you guys won it. But it wasn't as dramatic as that. It wasn't Phil yelling at Michael. It was more a little nudge to get him to realize that magic was straying off me a little bit. But that was part of the whole process of team and believing in one another, and that resulted in 3 championships for that first group.
Yeah, you talk about selling points. That would definitely turn your head a little bit, finally winning a championship against the Lakers there in Los Angeles. And then it went on, 2 more championships, 3 in a row, and just when the Bulls had taken ownership of the league, it seemed, it all came crashing down with Michael Jordan's first retirement. A combination of factors, including the tragic death of his father, drove Michael from basketball, but not, as it turned out, from the spotlight. Chicago fans got a sneak peek at Michael Jordan, the baseball player, during batting practice at Comiskey Park in July of 1990.
Be out in the major leagues on a major league field and get in the batting practice situation, yeah, it's fun. And it's something that you dream about as a kid. I kind of lost those dreams because I played basketball, professionally basketball, and this renewed some of those dreams, and I enjoyed it.
No one knew at the time that the next time Jordan stepped onto the diamond, it would turn into one of the most shocking days in Chicago sports history.
When I lose the sense of motivation and the sense of to prove something as a basketball player, it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
The next January, after a tryout in front of the media at IIT, the White Sox signed Jordan to a minor league baseball contract. All eyes were on Michael in spring training that year. He was eventually assigned to AA Birmingham.
1-1 pitch to Michael. Looping drive, it'll score at least 1. Mottola up with it. His throw to the plate is not in time, and Jordan delivers a 2 RBI single to right center field.
But Michael made his biggest hit at Wrigley Field in the annual Crosstown Classic in 1994.
There's another hit. A drive down the third base line. The tying run may score. He's around third, racing for the plate. The throw. He hasn't touched the plate yet, and he does. Michael Jordan has tied up the ball game with a ground double to left. And this crowd has seen what it came here for.
One of Michael's greatest joys is the pleasure he gets from the game of golf. He's played in celebrity tournaments all over the world, with the occasional Jordan magic touch.
Oh, he's playing good golf. Pretty good looking stroke.
Yeah. The economy has produced 6.1 million jobs since I became president. And if Michael Jordan goes back to the Bulls, it'll be 6,100,001 new jobs.
On the morning of March 18th, a simple 2-word fax said it all. I'm back.
One thing I kind of totally forgot, you know, once I retired 18 months ago, was my love for the game of basketball. As much as I tried to stay away from the game, I mean, the more times that I played, the more times that my appetite got wet.
Only 17 games remained in the regular season, but the Bulls had recovered their superstar, whose 23 was now 45. During this abbreviated return engagement, Jordan showed flashes of previous glory.
Racing the clock. Jordan for the win. Yes! He did it again! He is now back!
Down the stretch, the Bulls charged into the playoffs, but unlike years past, they were not the favorites. New heirs to the NBA throne had replaced them. Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic had become the new beast in the East, and with help from former Bull Horace Grant, the Magic put out Chicago in 6 games. But a stronger and even more focused Michael showed up the following season, this time with an unexpected ally in former foe Dennis Rodman. With Scottie Pippen and Rodman on the flank, Jordan drove the Bulls into a new universe. At mid-break, they stood 41-3. The question was no longer if they'd smash the NBA victory record, but when. April 16th at Milwaukee was as good a game as any.
There it is. 70 has become a reality for the Chicago Bulls. 70 wins on the season for the Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls ended the regular season with an NBA record 72 wins and only 10 defeats. Jordan would add a record 8 scoring crown and was named the league's most valuable player. The Bulls continued their assault on the NBA during the playoffs, storming through the East and then toying with Seattle in the finals before defeating them in 6 games, who laced them up for all 82 games and led the way to a 39-2 home record. Their 69 wins overall could be seen as a letdown only by a team as dominant as the Bulls. More than ever, it was number 2 plus 3 equaling 5 in Chicago. Michael once again led the NBA in scoring, including a league-high 51 points against